Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Fragments of Memory, aka the Armchair Philosopher. I was looking at a video by one Sticky Fingers, and Sticky Fingers, really good vids he makes. Anyway, he did something called he did a video called "I Say This with Love, Revenge of the Nerds," and I guess he was having a debate with someone or just making a video response to someone, and I just thought it was interesting some of the points he brought out. One of them was many times the so-called nerdy black guy doesn't get the validation from the black women that he finds attractive. Usually their validation goes to the streetwalker, or shall I say street thug archetype, the gangsta archetype. And usually the guy that's a nerd or a square gets passed over. Now, I've experienced this. I can remember growing up and people assumed because I didn't ogle women, wasn't overt about my attraction to ladies. Everybody assumed I was gay, or they assumed I was scared of girls, whatever. And many girls looked at me like I was an alien from another planet instead of just a dude that was around their block. And too often, the guy that got rewarded was the dude that either sold drugs or supposedly was in a gang or was supposedly into some other type of nefarious activity. Now, what's interesting, I find, is this behavior is sort of like rewarding a bad child. The child kicks over the table, he starts trying to hit on a grown up, or hit a grown up, or he's using foul language, and then instead of beating him or disciplining him in some way, you give him candy and ice cream. So he assumes, hey, what I'm doing is okay. While the kid that, let's say, is doing really good and doing conforming, and you use the word conformist, the things that we're told to do, we get punished. That'd be like the kid who didn't curse and who cleaned his room on time, who did his homework, would get a whooping every time he did those things. So it's kind of like that. Now, I did like how you pointed out that women are attracted to power, to dominance, or, dominance, and usually in the black community, it's dominance in the streets. That street presence, or that quote unquote, nowadays using the word swagger. And there I go using the word Anyway, I even like how you pointed out a man has three gears, where there's that drive to protect a woman, there's that drive to be a provider, and there's that drive to be, give pleasure and receive pleasure, of course. And of course, by dealing with certain women, your gears get messed up because, one, let's say you talked about the analogy of the guy getting into a situation where the girl says, "Oh, he touched my booty," and now you're gonna go defend her honor. And let's say you swing on him, you swing on the dude or whatever, and the police show up and you get arrested and you go to prison. So now when you get out of jail, you can't get a job because you've had a record. You're in the system. Or if I can go to the most extreme example, lady says, "Hey, you messed with my girl," or whatever. The lady says, "Hey, this guy's bothering me," and you go and defend her. And let's say you put up the dukes, he whips out a gun and goes blam. So now you've lost your life over this woman. So I find that too to be a very interesting thing. And then there, of course, I'm sure that a woman gets pleasure out of being fought over. And again, not being a woman, I can't speak on that, but it does seem that way. Then, of course, there's the provider. Now, you say that gear is messed up if he messes with that lady, either through death or imprisonment. Another thing is pleasure. And of course, with the pleasure aspect, yes, unfortunately, it seems that the most low down, dirty, scumbag person is said to give good sexual pleasure. A lot of women have mentioned, or at least I've seen videos here on YouTube and many posts on YouTube talking about how, oh, them thugs and them roughnecks can lay it down in the bedroom, quote unquote. And while that might be the case, she doesn't seem to remember the times that not he may have given her a so-called sexual healing, but he's also disrespected her and dogged her out. And again, going back to rewarding the bad behavior, so it seems like it is a cycle. Now, unfortunately, I can't necessarily comment on the nature of your discussion as far as you and the other YouTuber, just because I didn't hear their side of it. But I do find it fascinating that it does seem the brother that's trying to be the 9 to 5 legitimate person is not gets no love. So he gets no validation. So he's got to go out and find it somewhere, whether it's the brothers in the streets, whether it's dealing with people of other ethnicities, and I know sometimes that may be an unforgivable sin in the black community is interracial dating. Even today, even in the so-called post-racial era, we still have those racial ideas, but that's neither here nor there. But you make some very valid points there. What else can I say? I just like how you are again, and this is in no way trying to ride a bandwagon, but I do like the fact that you're the type of brother that is analyzing the situation for what it is. You're not getting emotional about it. You're not going, hey, this girl doesn't like me. Or you're not sitting here going, women are bad. And that's another thing that I like that you pointed out is that you don't hold those grudges. And I'll admit, I hold some grudges. And in some cases, I've held my grudges against black women. Now, this doesn't mean I hate the black woman, but there are some things that happened to me in my junior high and my high school years that I haven't necessarily gotten over. And I'm at least man enough to say I have not gotten over them, and that's something I am still working and dealing with. Working on and dealing with. What else may I say? Just keep up the good work on your vids. I do watch them. I do watch them often. I even liked how you just pointed out how not every brother's out here slanging dope. In fact, not every brother's out here being a gangbanger. But it seems that's the lifestyle that is glorified, propped up, idolized, and it doesn't help that the music culture has further exacerbated this by promoting it. Every rap artist raps about how many women he can get, how much money he makes, and of course, there's always this implication that he's a drug dealer, and that's not the entire black community. But unfortunately, that's what we prop up as heroic and wonderful, and we seem to be the only culture that doesn't give our intellectual giants the props. We give the streets the props. We give the entertainer, the athlete, the props. Keep up the good work, Mr. Sticky Fingers. Be easy like Sunday morning. And YouTubers, thank you. Just rate and give your feedback. Peace.